And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the King of the Road tournament, live on NASCAR Heat 5, and we are here rocking and rolling for a 28-lap race at Sonoma Raceway. It is the first installment of the second round action for the Group B drivers. Round 2 kicks off tonight here at Sonoma Raceway, and as of now, it is the pole sitter, NASCAR Oof, and the number 6 Ford Mustang leading the way with the 51 of BBS Brennan running in second. The 14 of Solzano scored in third. 6 drivers on the racetrack, the top 4 in the final standings at the end of the night, and after the 3 races here on the NOSSCAR Series Racing YouTube channel, advance to the finals at the Charlotte Roval tomorrow night, live on the NOSSCAR channel as well. I'm NOSSCAR CEO and founder Tyler McMurder, alongside my 2 broadcast partners here tonight in the booth. We have the former NOSSCAR Platinum Cup Series race winner Cameron Norton and a former NOSSCAR Motormaster Series race winner Jackson Stotts. Thanks a bunch to both of you for joining me.
No problem. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely, and we're seeing a good start to this race here. Everybody minding their P's and Q's. They're working their way through the final turn there. Mostly all single file, nobody peeking and taking a look. No one had a run to do that. And we saw Solzano just take back the second place position from the 51 of BBS Brennan. What are you seeing out there so far, Jackson?
I'm seeing some great racing, single file. I see, a lot of drivers hitting, I can call this the deserty grass. But as far as right now, the 6 Oscar Mayer Ford Mustang is looking really good right now. And you guys know the 14 and the 51 are still in this tournament. We saw them at Watkins Glen.
Ayrton's around.
And problems for the 48 there. That is Ayrton James, and that's a heartbreaker. One of the NOSSCAR road course ringers, that's for sure. 2-time NOSSCAR champion. Came into this into this second round knowing that Sonoma was going to be arguably the toughest track on the schedule, and showing just that. So far, he's dropped back now to the 6th place position, Cameron.
Yeah, that's a shocker right there. But as we're looking at NASCAR Roof here, Jess Carlson in that number 6, he's pulling away pretty good with the good lead here. As we all know, he's really good on these road courses, and keep an eye out on that 6 car.
Qualified on the pole for this race, clicking off pretty quick laps, quick lap times rather here early in the going. Has about 14-15 car lengths of an advantage over the 14 of Solzano, and then you'll find the 51 of BBS Brennan scored in the 3rd place position. Flash 9 all over him, but Flash got a little bit loose coming out of turn 10 back there. Turn 11 rather, and he really had to grab a handful of steering wheel and hold on. He keeps it on the track and pointed in the right direction. Still in the 4th place position, but that allowed Mucka and the number 2 Ford Mustang to close in on him. Action all over this racetrack. Just goes to show that it can all change in the blink of an eye, especially at a challenging road course like Sonoma Raceway. So many elevation changes, little hidden bumps here and there. The carousel that they recently brought back to the NASCAR circuit, and configuration of this racetrack very challenging through there, and it's hard to get a handle of these cars through that section of the racetrack, Jackson.
Yeah, Mucka is really having a fun time. I could tell I think he had his hopes up when he saw the 47 get really loose out of turn 11, and I guess you can see now he's just still gaining. He's still gaining on the 47. I want to go back to earlier what I said. The 51 and 14 are back here at Sonoma. They had a hard-fought battle at Watkins Glen, and now we get to see them back here at Sonoma. I'm excited to see what they could do here tonight, to see if they can put on the same show they put on at Watkins Glen here tonight, or will it be more of a relaxed battle? But as far as right now, everyone's looking good. The only car that's been spinning out tonight, or close to spinning out, is basically the 48 Ally Chevrolet. We did see a couple of cars go off in the new carousel they have here today.
It's going to be the hot spot for drivers to maybe make a mistake in today's race, is that carousel, in my opinion, and we've already seen a couple, and we see BBS Brennan getting a little bit loose and out of shape going up the hill there over in turns 4 and 5. The S's coming up the hill, and he gathered it up, but lost a little bit of time to Solzano, who runs in second. Flash 9 still scored in fourth with a bit of a gap over the driver running in fifth, and everybody's pretty spread out at this point, and everyone trying to keep their car on the racetrack. As you see, Flash 9 just went airborne there through the carousel at Sonoma here and was able to hold on to it miraculously. A lot of drivers would have spun that 47 car out there, and he's going to keep it on the track, pointed in the right direction. Still scored in fourth. Top four in the final standings at the end of the night advance to the final round. So if you get these top three, top four finishes, you're pretty much safe to advance, as Solzano is beginning to close in a little bit
reel in on
NASCAR.
I've been watching this battle for a while, and yeah, he's starting to reel him in there, Tyler.
Cameron, you've been watching that battle for a little bit here now. What is it that Solzano's doing that's allowing him to close the gap in a little bit?
I think he's just running a much better, smoother line than Oof. I mean, Jesse Carlson, as we all know, he's really, really good here. And Solzano, I don't know much about him, but he's a really good road course racer, and he's proven it to be in the last week's round. And this week, it's going to be a hard-fought battle between these two, and as we're going up through this little mini carousel here, into this turn, right-hand turn, hard right-hand turn, we'll see what Solzano can do. He's been closing on him each and every lap.
Absolutely. Solzano, one of the very best road course ringers here on the NASCAR Heat games. He finished in the top 5 in the Winter Heat Series event at the Indy Roval, and he's got a couple of King of the Road wins here over the last couple of weeks, and he's one of the favorites to advance all the way to the finals and compete for the King of the Road Championship. And that all happens tomorrow night here on the NOSSCAR Series Racing YouTube channel. Last chance qualifier tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the finals hosted at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at the Charlotte Roval. Solzano continues to close in on the race leader Jesse Carlson. BBS Brennan under fire a little bit from Flash 9. That's the battle for third and fourth, Jackson.
Yeah, I was just watching the same cam you were watching. The 47, Flash 9 is really catching to this 51 right now. I cannot wait to see what move he can make here in turn 11. He's going to dive bomb it. He's going to go wide here out of turn 11 here, and he is actually going to make up some ground here. I thought he'd lose ground, but the 47 of Flash 9 went off earlier in the carousel. He went airborne a little bit. Left sides were off the ground. But you can see he has a very fast long-run car. He's going to kind of overdrive turn number, I guess you could call it turn number 2, because there is that little left-hander. But I call it turn number 2, and now we're getting into the area where this is the hardest part of the racetrack, to be honest. Passing the fire truck, taking this sharp right-hander, and he's going to try to enter the carousel as much speed as he can. Tyler, do you think that with these tires... Oh, and he goes off! The 51 slides in, and the 47 really reels into the 51. As I was saying, Tyler, do you think these cars, the more that the race goes on, when they hit the rumble strip, do you think they could possibly get looser and looser?
Oh, absolutely. Once you run over one of those rumble strips, depending on what you're doing and how hard you're steering and if you're mashing the throttle or not, it's kind of like driving on ice sometimes. Kind of depends on what rumble strip it is, what track you're at, and the certain circumstances. But if you hit one of those rumble strips the wrong way, it really can throw your car off and get you out of control and out of shape, and you kind of need to gather it up, and it can cost you time on the racetrack. But at the same time, there's some rumble strips on these road courses where you can ride them and have complete control, and it's faster that way because you can use more space on the track, and therefore you can get more speed entering and exiting these turns. So it's all about learning the road courses and learning your limits with these racetracks. And Cameron Norton, we're still watching a good battle here for the third and fourth position. Flash 9 in the 47, not giving up.
Yeah, as we saw Flash earlier, had a spin, and he's been reeling him in, back in again. Sorry, I can't speak right now, but as we're watching here, Flash 9's been really good here, and I think BBS has kind of have a little bit looser cars. We're seeing a little bit. Oh, Flash kind of gets off the track there a little bit. But I think these cars on the longer run will start getting into a handling phase where they'll get a little bit loose. as from past experience of me racing here, the cars will get a little bit loose. I don't know if you've had previous experience with the car getting loose here, but you know, I think as the tires start to wear, it's going to come more favorable for these cars to probably come down pit road.
Yeah, they very well might. They won't need fuel, but they could always come down and grab tires, but then again, it's going to cost you a lot of time on the track if you do that, and there's definitely going to be some drivers that decide not to do that, so I don't know if that's the right call or not.
Oh, the 47!
What a save by Flash 9. He hangs on to the 47 Chevy Camaro, and he's still challenging BBS Brennan for that third place position. He's going to take it. He's going to take it as they exit turn 11, Cameron.
Yeah, as we saw there, watching through the final turn in turn 11, Flash set him up pretty good there, and now BBS, what he's going to try to do is he's going to try to run behind him, get a little bit of a draft here, and see if he can try to make up some ground and set him up for another pass.
Both drivers, very talented sim racers here on the NASCAR Heat games, and around goes the 47. Damage. And there's some damage to the front end of the 47 Chevy Camaro, and it's definitely going to hurt the performance of that race car. He's going to lose the 4th place position to Mucka in the 2 who just went by, and there goes Ayrton James, who's going to take the 5th position. And that is a heartbreaker for one of the very best on the NASCAR Heat 5 game, and that is Flash 9. He's parked off the racetrack now and done for this race. He'll be back strong. He'll be back strong later on for Canadian Tire in the Indy Roval, that's for sure, but it's not the way he wanted to start his night for round 2 as we continue to watch the Sonoma race here.
The 47 looks like he parked himself on purpose. He's had enough of Sonoma Raceway here tonight. He's actually, I think he was really frustrated, especially at the very start of the race. Going off early and now spinning out, hitting the inside barriers, I could say. So definitely a heartbreaker for the 47. In my books, he really has to have a good finish or a possibility, a win, to get him into the next round.
You might be right. And we're riding along now with the race leader, Jesse Carlson, the number 6 Ford Mustang. Triple Crown winner in NOSSCAR. One of the very best road course ringers here on the NASCAR Heat 5 game. Not necessarily known across the console for his skills, not quite yet, but we're getting there. And many drivers, many fans, many viewers were pointing their fingers at this driver as one of the favorites to win the tournament. If he keeps driving like this, Cameron, he's definitely going to advance his way to the finals tomorrow night.
No doubt about it. I think he's the favorite all the way. I ain't going to count Salzano out in BBS. But Jesse Carlson here has opened up a really, really good lead here. I think early on, I think he was starting to save his tires a little bit. Wouldn't you agree?
It's not a bad idea. He very well might have been, and that might have been why Salzano was closing in on him. I do know that if you're not planning on pitting in this race, which you don't have to for fuel or tires, but if you're not planning on pitting, you do need to take care of those tires. It's a lot like a NASCAR Pinty Series race or a NASCAR K&N Series race at one of the road courses where they don't need to pit. There are no sets of tires waiting for you, and you kind of just need to manage those tires all the way to the end. We will see drivers start to lose control and lose the handle of these cars the older that the tires get. So don't count out some of these drivers that are running 4th, 5th on back, like Mucka in the 2 and Ayrton James there in the number 48 Chevy Camaro.
Nice lead for NASCAR Roof right now in his Oscar Mayer Ford Mustang. He's been very fast. Like I agree with you guys earlier, he was really saving his tires. Now I believe he stopped. You know, to be honest, I believe he stopped because now he's really he really has a large lead.
Trouble. The 14 Salzano off the course in the carousel. Apologize for the interruption, but that was major there. It almost looked like he was going to keep on going off the course there, and he saves it and gets it back going again. There technically is an invisible wall there in this game where if you go too far off the course in the grass there in the carousel, you will hit it, and it actually does do damage to the car. That's what I thought was going to happen to the 14, but he held on to it barely in time. You're saying, Jackson?
Oh, 14 car has good damage on the front end. like I said, at Watkins Glen, damage can help you at the road courses. That's little damage. Tyler, I honestly think that won't do a single thing to his race car.
Yeah, I don't think so either. It does look minor from up here, but then again, it could be a whole different story for the driver behind the wheel of that race car. If he's on a wheel and using a shifter and pedals and all of that, he's got the whole rig, then it might be affecting the race car a little bit. The force feedback might be a little bit different, and it might be a bit of a challenge for Solzano. But then again, it does look pretty minor, so maybe not. Still holding strong in the second place position, but a strong run going as well for the 51 of BBS Brennan. He's lost a little bit of ground to Solzano, but he's comfortably in the third place position. He was being challenged by the 47 of Flash 9 for quite some time here at Sonoma Raceway, but since then, Flash 9 has made a couple of mistakes and has parked the race car for the race here, and he'll be back tonight for Canadian Tire and the Indy Roval, and that leaves BBS Brennan running without a challenge from any driver right now in that third place position. Scored in fourth is Mucka FRR, the Front Row Racing League CEO. Recently was holding tryouts on Sunday nights, and there is a FRR draft coming up in the near future, so stay tuned for that. Very organized league over there. Very talented sim racer here on the NASCAR Heat 5 game. Has a win this season in the NOSSCAR Platinum Cup Series. Made it to the Final Four for the NOSSCAR Motormaster Series and won the championship. Cameron, you were there for that wild Motormaster Series championship race with the crazy finish at the end when Mucka won the 2021 Motormaster Championship. Tell us what that was like being behind the wheel and involved in that.
Oh, it was crazy. All those drivers there put on a great season. Can't wait for next year, and we got some great things coming on. But all in all, those Final Four drivers, they gave it their all, and that final restart, we gambled, and it kind of shot us in the butt at the end of the race, but they did their thing, and it set them up for a good finish.
And let's quickly throw it down to our in-race reporter,
Trouble
Ayrton
in the
James.
carousel. The 14 is around. Nice save for the 14. He gathers it back up, and he is on his way. Sorry for interrupting you, Ty.
That's quite all right. Let's throw it down to the in-race reporter, Ayrton James, the driver of the number 48 Chevy Camaro, two-time NOSSCAR champion. He's the Jeff Gordon Award winner for the 2020 calendar year, last year with the most wins in a calendar year. Ayrton, how's the car feeling? You're riding along there in the fifth place position. Probably not where you'd want to be, but kind of looks like you are catching a couple of the cars in front of you.
Yeah, this was a race I wasn't expecting to win. Hopefully just be in this good spot to continue the night. And right now, like you said, just kind of riding around. This is a track that you really got to just manage your stuff, and that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm not pushing whatsoever. And last night, I was in the broadcast booth. I saw just about everybody make a mistake, and it seems like everybody's doing a great job of doing quite the opposite. Flash, obviously, heartbreak for him to make a mistake. But I know he'll be back, so I got to push as much as I can to make up as many points as I can get. Because, yeah, I made that mistake earlier, back to 5th, and just been kind of minding my own business. But this is a long race, longest race of the night, so I'm just sitting tight, and everybody at home should definitely sit tight as well.
The good news for you is you won the NOSSCAR Motormaster Series race at the Charlotte Roval, and that's where the last chance qualifier is tomorrow night, so you're relatively safe even if you don't advance here in round 2, wouldn't you say? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, should worst come to worst and I gotta go to the qualifier, then I feel really good about that. I know that if I'm not fast enough to make it on points, I'm one of those guys that's going to be right on that bubble who just misses out on it. And yeah, the Roval's definitely one of my better tracks, quite the opposite of Sonoma. So yeah, if I got to race my way in, then I will be pretty confident about that.
Best of luck to you in this race. We'll let you get back at it.
Appreciate it.
And that was two-time NOSSCAR champion Ayrton James, driver of the number 48 Chevy Camaro, running in the 5th position. They're all chasing the number 6 of Jesse Carlson in that Ford Mustang, and he's rocking and rolling here at Sonoma. Jackson putting on the fastest lap times of any other driver at this point.
He is, and you know, it's still a long night. You still got a little ways to go here at Sonoma. And as far as right now, I'm going to go through the field here. We still have the Oscar Mayer Ford Mustang of NASCAR Oof in the lead. You have the 14, I believe in second, if I'm not wrong. You have the 51 in third. 47 is off the racetrack in his 47 Kroger pit stall. And then you have Ayrton James. Ayrton, we know that he is a talented driver. Driving actually the finale Jimmy Johnson paint scheme here tonight. He's rocking it. I like it. Nice and silvery. Definitely not the one that we usually see at Phoenix, but a very good paint scheme for the 48 right now. And honestly, Ayrton, you're running very smooth. I've watched you for over a lap now, and you're looking very good. If you're up front, Ayrton, to be honest, you definitely could go for at least a second place finish, but that early incident just tossed you all the way back to fifth. But here for the State Martin Company 350, you still have a long way to go here in tonight's race. You never know what could happen.
Kind of looks like the 6 of Jesse Carlson is starting to drive away a little bit more from the 14 of Solzano. Got to wonder if Solzano burned his tires up a little bit early in the going when he was running down the race leader, because since then, since about, I'd say, 5-6 laps ago, Solzano has started to fall off a little bit from where the 6 car is running in terms of lap times, but he's running quick enough to keep the 51 and everybody else behind him, and second place is still good points. The 51, BBS Brennan, slowly reeling in the 14 of Solzano, but I don't know if he's catching him quick enough to challenge him for that second place position before the end of this race. We're approaching the halfway point, I do believe. We'll quickly throw it down to our in-race reporter, Ayrton James, to find out how many laps are remaining here at Sonoma.
Race leader Oof is on lap 16 to 28, so I believe that is 13, now 12 and a half to go.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And now he works his way out of the carousel. So when he comes around and hits the start-finish line this time by, it'll be 12 laps to go here at Sonoma Raceway. Round 2 of the King of the Road tournament right here on NASCAR Heat 5. And round 2 Group B drivers beginning the night here at Sonoma Raceway. Coming up after this, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park and the Indy Roval for the main event. Cameron, what are you seeing out there?
I'm just seeing some great racing, obviously. Jesse Carlson's putting on a clinic here, and I think he's trying to make a statement here in this King of the Road tournament that, you know, he wants to be proven that he's the best. I think everybody wants to be, but, you know, with him being the best that there is, I think he's got a shot at it.
He was definitely one of the drivers that was looked at as one of the favorites to win this King of the Road tournament. He and Vintimidator, Max Boost, Solzano, and Baronade, and a few others were definitely considered high favorites and heavy hitters for this tournament, and the majority of them are safe and locked in to the finals for this tournament. And look for some of those drivers to be participating in the last chance qualifier before the finals tomorrow night as well. We're going to go ahead and ride on board with some of your drivers on the racetrack here in this Group B race at Sonoma Raceway, and we're going to do a good old-fashioned crank it up, folks. The broadcasters are going to go silent for about 3 to 5 minutes here, and you're going to be able to hear the engines of these Cup cars on NASCAR Heat 5. They're running the preset sliders at Sonoma. You're watching the King of the Road Tournament Round 2 action live on the NASCAR Series Racing YouTube channel. and go ahead and crank the volume back down, folks. We're going to bring you back to live full commentary here for the Sonoma race. Round 2 Group B action for the King of the Road tournament. And I'm NOSSCAR CEO and founder Tyler McMurder, along with Jackson Stotts and Cameron Norton as my broadcast partners, and in-race reporter Ayrton James, bringing you live flag-to-flag coverage. 28-lap event, and we're down to about 10 laps remaining. Here at Sonoma, your race leader is the pole sitter, Jesse Carlson, and the number 6 Ford Mustang, and he's laying down some hot laps right now, Jackson. Working his way up the hill now, and through the right-hander, and then through the S's, through the infield there.
I was watching him a little bit there, Tyler. I don't know if you noticed it, but starting to have some hiccups like he is right there. I don't know if you can tell if it's just a connection issue or not, but it looked like he's been having some issues there. Salzano back here, he's been kind of starting to reel him in just a little bit, but it's a work in progress for him. But I think if Oof keeps having these slip-ups, I think Salzano might get up to him.
Well, this is kind of what I was talking about earlier. We're getting in the part of the race now where the cars that are a little bit loose at the start of the race, they're going to be very loose and snappy now, because those tires are getting pretty worn. The temperatures are red hot for those tires, and they're going to start sliding around now more than ever in this race.
No doubt about it. These guys here, they've been putting on a clinic, and they're managing these loose race cars, and they're doing some great job driving them.
Oh, and the 6 car got really loose there. Coming around that right-hander over there. That was turn 5 and 6, and he's going to make it okay, and now he's heading towards the carousel. But I think you're right, Cameron. I think you're onto something. That's not connection issue. That is definitely the 6 car going away in terms of handling. It's definitely getting a little loose on him from time to time, and that's allowing...
starting to close in on him a little bit.
I was just about to say, that's allowing the 14 of Salzano, top 5 finisher in that Winter Heat Series race at the Indy Roval. He's closing in, and it might be a good battle for the race lead before all is said and done. Let's quickly throw it down to our in-race reporter, Ayrton James, the driver of the number 48 Chevy Camaro. Ayrton, how many laps remaining?
I am currently about 8 to go, so leaders will be 7 to go at the stripe. Yeah.
You're reeling in the 2 car of Mucka. Is the 48 getting better as the run goes along, or is the 2 getting worse, or maybe a combo of both?
Maybe a combo of both. I'm definitely pushing a little harder as I catch him. Every lap I've gained about a second, but he made a mistake a few laps ago that helped me gain about 2 seconds. So, a little loose there, but yeah, I think he's getting a little worse. He might have been one of the cars who was fast at the start. I ran a tighter setup because I'm terrified of this track being loose. So, right now, my tires are going a little bit as well, but I think mine are in better shape than Mucka's in the 2. So, could be interesting for this last bubble spot.
I think it will be, absolutely. We'll let you get back to work there in that 48 car.
A little bit loose there. I'm really starting to think that the 6 car is starting to get loose, and the 14's just eating into his lead there, Tyler.
Absolutely. He's only a couple of turns away now, and I think that it's about 3.5 seconds or 4 seconds separating the 2 cars, and I know that that sounds like a lot, but it's shrinking rapidly here, and 7 laps remaining for these drivers. It is going to be close. You can tell that the handling of the 6 car is going away. You can see the 4 car popping into frame behind the 6 car every now and then. He's definitely getting closer. Both these drivers so talented, especially on the road courses, very much road course ringers. It's like watching AJ Allmendinger versus Marcos Ambrose out here today. And BBS Brennan in the 51 car, not too far behind, running in 3rd. And we've got a good battle for the 4th and 5th place position shaping up here between Mucka FRR and the number 2 Front Row Racing League CEO and founder, and the 48 driver, and that is 2-time NOSSCAR champion Ayrton James. So there's a lot going on the racetrack all over the place. There could be a battle for the lead brewing, and there's a battle for 4th that's very much alive, very much brewed and ready for serving.
Zano's really pushing it here. I think he's knowing that the lap's starting to wind down a little bit, and I think he knows it's go time. But as the 6 is going here, I think he's starting to be a little bit more conservative, knowing that he's getting loose. And I think Salzano knows. Oh, he gets a little bit loose there. Oh man, what a save there he's putting on. That 6 car is really, really getting loose as the run keeps going. I don't know how much longer he's going to hold on to that thing, but he's saving it.
And if you're a Susano in the 14, and if you come around a corner or two and you see grass kicked up in the air, that's like waving a piece of the steak in front of a wolf, man. He knows that he's getting closer and closer, and he knows that the 6 car is going off track once in a while. He knows that the 6 is kind of getting weaker and weaker as the race goes in terms of handling, and the 14 might be coming to life, and there's only 6 laps remaining at this time. In fact, I believe when they come out of the final turn this time, Jesse's going to take the 5 laps to go signal. So if Salzano wants to get there, he's going to have to push a little harder than what he's pushing. But like Ayrton was saying in commentary a lot last night, Sonoma's not one of those tracks where you can push harder and find more time. Usually these drivers are pushing as hard as they can. Throttle control and sensitivity is a big factor at Sonoma, and it's going to be hard for Salzano to close in that 3, 4, 5 second gap separating he and NASCAR Roof, but it's getting closer and closer.
I think we got a battle for the 5th spot, if I'm not mistaken. The 2, the 48, they're right up on each other.
Yes, sir. 4th and 5th up for grabs here. Mucka trying to hang on. Mucka got out to a good start at the beginning of this race, was able to drive out into 4th and stay there. But now he's under fire from Ayrton James, who said that he was pushing harder. He doesn't have anything to lose. He might as well push harder and see if he can get one spot out of it. Because even if he does loop it, there's nobody there to take that 5th place position. Flash 9 off the racetrack, done for the day. He's going to claim 6th. Top 4 in the final standings at the end of the night advance to the finals. And anyone who doesn't goes to the last chance qualifier race at 7:30 p.m. tomorrow night. So yeah, good battle here, and I don't blame Ayrton for laying it on the line a little bit to try to reel in that car in front of him, because it's working for him. As we take a look again at the race leader, Jesse Carlson, who's coming up to the 4 laps to go signal. Drove it in really deep there into turn 11. And Cameron, if you drive it in too hard into turn 11, your best option then is to diamond the corner and just utilize the extra speed down the straightaway that you're going to get from diamonding the corner, and just kind of use it to your advantage since you made a mistake.
Yeah, if you make a mistake, just try to use the best way that you can to try to keep the lead that you have. And Jesse Carlson here is doing a pretty good job, even though he's been getting loose. He's been managing it pretty well. I still believe that Salzano he's trying to push, knowing that he's been closing in several times. But this racetrack, to me, it's all about your rhythm. That's, it's pretty hard to stay in the same rhythm that you're in, because this turn right here that Salzano's going through, it's pretty hard.
It really is.
The car likes to get uneven, and the car likes to get up on 2 wheels. You really want to just kind of keep a rhythm and, keep the same speed that you have carried on, and not try to lose anything that you have.
I don't know if it's just me or not, but I think that the lead is starting to open back up. I don't know.
Again.
I don't know if the 14 has maybe made a couple mistakes back to back, or if the 6 is starting to find some grip out there. Whoa, we see Jesse really overshooting the corner there. And he got into the grass a little bit, but he's going to go through turn 11 again. And when he comes to the start-finish line, it's only going to be 3 laps remaining here at Sonoma. It's the longest race of the night. It's the longest race in round 2. So it's arguably the most difficult challenge for these drivers after this. They've got Canadian Tire and the Indy Roval.
Yeah, I've been watching him on that final. Oh, he goes off the racetrack there. And I'm telling you, his car's starting to get loose, Tyler. And I've been watching him on that before you come up to turn 11. He's been making that corner more wide. Like, he tries to use every single piece of the racetrack that he can. I personally believe that his car's loose, and it may be me that thinks that, but it's just probably his driving style.
Well, he could be driving it into turn 11 a little bit harder to try to compensate for how loose the car is. If you're tiptoeing around the apron, and the rumble strip in turn 11, it can get a little snappy on you and then just completely snap to the right on you. So maybe it's his way of getting through turn 11 to make sure that the car is not going to spin out on him.
Oh, he goes off there, hits the wall.
See, the
problem on the frame there, Salzano was, I'm telling you, his car's starting to get loose, and I think Salzano might have a chance there. It's become the 2 to go.
I don't know if he's close enough. He's trying. He can see him again, and it's definitely shrinking again, the gap between the two. But the problem is for Salzano, they're coming up to 2 laps to go, and I don't know if that's going to be enough time for him to reel in NASCAR Oof or be close enough to capitalize if NASCAR Oof spins out here late in the going. He's really fighting a loose race car in that number 6 right now.
No doubt about it. As we take the 2 to go signal here, we'll keep watching the 6 car. I personally think that he's just trying to do everything he can to stay right where he's at, because he, in the back of his head, he's probably thinking, if I make a mistake, Salzano might be close enough to try to capitalize. If he makes a big mistake, I think Salzano can get there. If he makes a small mistake, I think he can get back to where he's going.
Coming up to the toughest part of the racetrack, the carousel. We've seen a few cars go off course over here, and including some of the best here on the NASCAR Heat 5 game. Very challenging part of the racetrack, and he's going to hang on to it. And he's only got to go through that part of the racetrack one more time, so that's definitely a sigh of relief for him as Salzano works his way out of the carousel now. Very smooth couple of right-hand turns here for Jesse Carlson in the 6, and that's key because he got loose there that last time by. The lead, the gap is still shrinking, but I think that Salzano is going to run out of time unless NASCAR Roof really makes a major mistake here on this last lap.
This car is really loose there, as we're seeing. I'm telling you, that turn right there, I'm thinking to myself that he's trying to arch that corner to where the car doesn't spin out on him. And Salzano has come up to the white flag here. I think in the second place spot, he has to be comfortable, but I know he wants that lead, and I think Oof might be able to hold on here if he keeps doing what he's doing.
White flag has been shown. Up the hill they go into turn 2. And everything's looking good for Jesse Carlson, NOSSCAR Triple Crown winner. And he would love to open round 2 with a win. That would pretty much all but lock him in to the finals. He would pretty much just need to get a couple of top 4 finishes after this. And this is arguably the strongest track in the round for Jesse Carlson. He dominated the NOSSCAR Motormaster Series race here at Sonoma earlier this year. It was one heck of a battle between he and Even Steven and a few others in that race. But half a lap to go for Jesse Carlson, closing in on another King of the Road tournament race win. Salzano in second, closing in, but he's not going to get there in time. Even if Jesse in the 6 car spins it even 1 or 2 more times, I think he's got enough gap at this point. They're going down the hill through the S's for the final time, Cameron.
Yeah, as we see our Oops in the grass again, Salzano's really pushing it. He can see him in his front windshield, but Jesse Carlson here is coming down to turn 11 to take the checkered flag, and he's going to hold on to win this.
Hard on the brakes. You can see the car wiggling under braking. That car is loose. The tires are gone. Jesse Carlson in the number 6 Ford Mustang comes around the final turn to the start-finish line, and he wins here at Sonoma. Kicks off round 2, Group B, with a victory at Sonoma Raceway. And Salzano in the number 14 Ford Mustang is going to claim P2 to start off his second round campaign in the King of the Road tournament. BBS Brennan in the 51 hangs on for third. Strong run for that driver and that team. There's Mucka FRR, the driver of the number 2 Ford Mustang, rounds turn 11 for the final time, and he's going to pick up a P4 finish to begin round 2 of the tournament. Ayrton James in the number 48 Chevy Camaro, arguably the nicest paint job in the field. He's going to settle for 5th. Was worried about this track a little bit here tonight, but strong performances in his career at Canadian Tire and the Indy Roval. He won the Brickyard 160 for the NOSSCAR Platinum Cup Series earlier this season at the Indy Roval, so if anyone can bounce back here in round 2, it's him. What a race we saw there, Cameron.
Oh, what a great race. Salzano was really closing in there, and what a great driving by Jesse Carlson. He held on to manage that loose race car, and I think we're going to have a good battle for these next couple tracks. What else do we got for tonight?
Oh yeah, coming up next we have Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, and the main event for the Round 2 Group B drivers afterwards is the Indy Roval, folks. Very excited to keep the action going here on the NOSSCAR Series Racing YouTube channel for the King of the Road tournament on NASCAR Heat 5. There we take a look at the fastest laps of the race, and NASCAR Oof by less than, I would say about 4/100ths of a second faster than Solzano. That's how close some of these drivers were on their fastest lap times, and that is on the preset sliders in the Cup cars at Sonoma Raceway. Well, folks, that's going to do it. The first installment for Round 2 Group B action in the King of the Road tournaments in the history books. Coming up next, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Once again, congratulations to the driver of the number 6 Ford Mustang, and that is Jesse Carlson. He wins here at Sonoma Raceway, kicks off Round 2 with a bang. We'll see you in just about 15 to 20 minutes here on the NOSSCAR Series Racing YouTube channel for Canadian Tire Motorsport Park.